Well, hello. You're watching GMODISM. This is your host, Eric. Today, we will not check out this little Yamato. No, indeed not. But I will just show you this a little bit quickly. I am slowly but surely working on putting together a nice looking Ultra Yamato by Martin Zero Pants. And I can just tell you, whatever I do, how many more details I add, whatever I fix, even if I rebuild the entire thing, even if I make my own Yamato and make it my life's project, I'm not gonna be able to make it as cool as the Yamato we're gonna look at right now. I don't know if it wasn't out already or if I just missed it, but there is an amazing Yamato on the workshop. But fear not, the Ultra Yamato will be completed, of course, and you'll be able to get it on the workshop. But nevertheless, let's check this out. Here, my ladies and gentlemen, Colossal Yamato Battleship by Maxine APP. So the creator did contact me just when I accidentally found it. It is actually not uploaded just now, it was uploaded earlier this summer, and I don't know how this hasn't been seen yet, so you have to see this. It is, like the Ultra Yamato, is a little bit bigger than the real Yamato. 500 hours to make this. I like that can be normally from the depth. This is an insane game. Main armaments, cram cannons, armor-piercing frag cannon. Wow. Secondary armament, we got a lot of stats listed here. Feel free to pause. And then we got 4 Nakajima B5N based torpedo bombers. And I've only seen a picture of them. But man, I'm sure it's gonna be looking pretty amazing, all of this. Because look at this image, you know. So we're gonna download this and you'll find this on the workshop. Also, the creator did ask me to give some feedback on the like interiors and the loadout, the systems, well, basically some general feedback, so I'm thinking that's definitely something we're going to do. Also, big thanks to anyone supporting the channel right now via the ECCLESIARCHY or via the government even, or even, of course, the commissioned officers in the army of GMODISM. I don't know how many decos this thing has, but I'm sure it's gonna take some time to load. Oh my god. Oh my god, look at this. That's so many details. This looks so cool. Look at that. It's not even lagging as much as I would expect it to. Oh my god. These airplanes. Somebody said this is an underrated entry to the workshop, and I must agree. Look at this. Now, I'm no airplane expert at all, but this looks like the real thing. We even have rivets and stuff. And we got this complex launching thing. We got the wealth. Oh my god. All the other Yamatos ever made cannot match this thing. And what's more insane is that the creator, the Maxine, hasn't that much experience in From the Depth, but instead jumped into decoing straight away instead of learning systems like most people do, according to the creator, that is. This looks absolutely amazing. Can we just appreciate how good this looks? I think this is one of the most good looking replica builds I've seen ever. I think it may be the best looking replica build ever. When I spawned in a different Yamatos to get some kind of inspiration for upgrading the Yamato by Martin Zero Pants, I had hoped we would see something like this. And I just totally did not. This, I mean, I almost want to check out of decoing the Ultra Yamato. This looks so amazing. I'm speechless. Or clearly I'm not, because I'm rambling. But look at this thing. And I control the camera, so it's not like you have a choice. But God damn it. Oh, have we used the glass texture here to kind of get the aesthetic of some kind of net? Oh my lord, this looks so cool. All right, and even the cables are like a bit slaking like this. Man, ladies and gentlemen, this looks absolutely amazing. There's a very well made to the creator Maxine APP. We clearly have to. We clearly need some upgraded interiors to go with that. This looks too amazing. Look at this thing. Right, so let's check out the stats here. 5 million, as you do. Length is 400 meters and the width is 70. I think it was 1.5 the size of the Yamato. Total firepower is... That's actually 3,600. That's a lot of firepower actually. Mostly APS, then crans. Armor cost is 36%. And like, can we just check how many I can't even find the menus here right now. It looks nice. It looks nice. Right. We have 11,649 decorations and mimics, my ladies and gentlemen. I'm not surprised. So then we need to utilize decos and sub-objects and stuff. And look at that. I'm just curious. Look at that. So we had this slope here. To have this sloped kind of axis, we actually have stuff on spin blocks to make this even possible. Okay, so where do we begin? I feel like the first thing we need to do is actually check out the different viewing modes. So we're gonna check out the mass, thus removing the mimics, so we can kind of see how this looks like. Now it's gonna take some time here to load in, and in that time I will say the highest ranking commissioned officers in the army of GMODISM: Commander Ben Wilkie and Delphin, Lieutenants Ali, Anto, Cravey, Flores Dagon, Daniel Saikin, Ohm, Parva Greed, Vincent Veritas, Rick Prell, and Scooby Rocks. Huge thanks for supporting the channel every month, of course. Well, here you can see how the ship actually looks like when you remove the mimics. Very interesting to see the general shape here, and all of the deco cope has gone into this to make it look neat. Because as we can see, without the decos, we have a pretty functional setup with using ducts for armor, which is of course going to be a strong reliant thing to do. Drag down a little bit on the block count. The block count is actually only 131,000, which isn't a lot. Now, block count isn't the thing that causes the most amount of lag anyways, but whatever. I wonder why they are... Yeah, well, it takes some time to switch between the mimic layer and the non-mimic layer, so we can switch quickly to check. But you can see here... Wow, how it looks without that. Very interesting to see the actual look of it. So here we can even see we don't even have armor at places here. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. This is strange to me. But I'm also so stuck in building things after the real shape, so to say, and being quite pedantic with where a block is placed and not. So it's of course very different when I build things. When I look at this, I'm thinking, why there is a missing block here and why is there is a missing block there? But of course, You have to leave some blocks empty to make stuff not spin clip and do weird stuff into each other. Well, as said, where do we begin? Let's check, disable the structural component and only check the interior parts, so we can get a nice interior view of this beautiful Yamato. All right. Look at that. So it's interesting to see when we remove the blocks here. We have a lot of spaced armor and sections in between here. And we got the turrets here. They even have emergency ejectors. That makes me want to check. But it's a civs cannon, so we can do without defuses, even though it could be advisable, but for a compact system like that, you know, most people don't even bother with emergency ejection defuses. Oh my! That's a lot of pistons. I think this is part of the launching sequence, which is pretty laggy, they say. Here we have ammunition base, like that. Look at that. And inside of there we have a big steam system. So the steam system, of course, is... oh, bam, that's some long rods, man. The steam system is quite vulnerable, but I suppose it's built like this for roleplay reasons, so, you know, I'm not gonna judge this as a min-max type of build. We do have... okay, so we are not using those shields, we are using the ring shields. Unusual, but they're very strong. They're very strong. I think Borderwise did some tests where they actually outperformed. Why are you glowing? Okay, just a little offset with that. Not important. Not a big deal. So we got a big cram cannons there, and yeah, I think we need to check out some different... Right, so we have a huge array of hydrofoils to control the roll here. So again, to the keel we have big hydrofoil stack there. We got civs guns and we have rail guns. Nice barrels. Now, okay, so this is the APS we're going for. Here we have some HESH. Emergency ejection defuse. I don't think Maxine looks like a noob. Seems to be well set up. If we look at this cannon here, let's check it out. We have recoil. Okay, so recoil is more than absorption. These guys will be a little bit not accurate after a while. The autoloader limit is higher than the... So the autoloader ammo and cooling limit isn't perfectly balanced, which could be an improvement. But the biggest problem is probably that the recoil... oh, this recoil's absorption is actually a lot higher, while this recoil is too little. Weird. So I guess they have different... Sabot, rail charge. Okay, so they are rail charged. So maybe they should be adjusted to have more recoil. Another thing you could do, of course, is just go in here, go to this and use some as an accuracy buff instead of using it to launch the shot. And then you can solve the recoil problem with no effort and make the gun accurate, more accurate. Better than to not do anything. That I must say. Because if you don't hit the target, you'll have big problems. But if you do hit the target, it doesn't matter, you do a little bit less damage. Well, nevertheless, vulnerable steam system. We have, what is this here? If vehicle battery, okay. Close valves. Alright, so we have a little switch there to close them if they're not needed, I suppose. There can be a bit unreliable to set that up, so I won't look too closely because it's hard. I will say this, however. I think that the use of surge protectors, I think we're having a little bit of a surge protector overuse because these guys are expensive. They're really expensive and you rarely need this many. But good to have them than to not to have them. You know, better safe than sorry, I will say that. All right. Some technical feedback. I've looked through the system here and we can see we have some issues here with the steam engine. We have a breach here, so this steam tube is actually not connecting to this input, which is why this steam engine here is offline. So that would need to be fixed. Then I did write a little list here. So one thing I see is that we have pretty thin turret necks here. We only have one single connection point going up to the firing piece. And this, of course, opens up to vulnerability. It's a good idea to have several connection points. Personally, I don't like to have a turret with necks because of some different game mechanics and leakage of high explosive damage and things like that. So I would, like, I do thick neck turrets, but if you want to do turret necks, it's better to have several connection points going upwards like this, because if one of these is broken, this like entire gun here is indeed offline. Here we used a pretty smart little tactic to beef up the health points. We have a drill bit 3x3. Now the drill bit is a high health block for a low cost, but if you want to max that out, you want to use the really big drill bit, the 7x7 drill bit instead of the 3x3, and the 7x7 drill bit in the steam section here under large gearbox is the best health points you can get for the material you spend. So if you want to have drill bits along the turret necks, that would be advisable. If not, it could be a good idea to instead have ducts, of course. And not having any armor behind like this can also be an issue because, of course, a lot of us use timed fragments. So timed frags could get in from behind and, as I already mentioned, a stray piece of high explosive damage going to places where it shouldn't go could thus kill the turret. Here we can see we have a cram cannon. And on top of this cram cannon, we have old artifacts from a APS cannon. And this, of course, opens up some issues. Well, like they're not used, but it's a lot of wasted materials, which is like the main issue. Could be used for armor instead. So I get that perhaps it's, you know, easy copy paste of the turret heads and stuff like that. But I feel that these, like, no, it's because we had guns up here, yeah. Yeah, that's right. So we don't have them guns here, but them APS systems for this gun should then be removed to save some cost and instead use some armor. Looking at the cram cannon, we have big high explosive here. But we do have a decent shell health, 130,000, so it should get through. Perhaps the reload is a little bit on the slower side with 40 seconds, but it's okay. However, when I looked inside of here, we can see we have a 3D Tetris attempt here. But let's see if I can find that one. I found a like here we have a pellets. Here we have a like a payload packer that's not connected to anything. That is a dead block. That is then. Here you can see we have okay, that's a painted section, right? So we have a red painted section there, so it's not any disconnection. I looked through here and I found a pellet box which had no connections. Yeah, here. So here we can see the packers are aligned in a way so that this this pellet doesn't have any connection, and that means that this is also dead weight. So the Tetris in general for the cram cannons is badly made. So I think the Tetris would need to be redone to make some better performance. And if you want very compact firepower and you don't really care about the cost, I would actually you could use 2D Tetris then too, of course. But in any case, checking this out, yeah, I think we have a synchronization. I know the synchronization looks cool, but it can open up to issues so the gun aren't firing at all too. So that's good to keep in mind. Well, other than that, what I wanted to check, yeah, I wanted to check the stats here for the cram cannon. So we have a firepower per material of 373. And when we have multi-barrel like this, we'll need to check all of them and compare. Just like that. So, of course, this setup is, of course, better than a 2D Tetris, but it could be improved with, you know, fixing the Tetris so that all blocks are connected and thus used. Well, moving forward here, I did check some more APS guns out. And this APS guns as well, you can see that the rail production is higher than the rail use, so we have too much being generated here. We have too many of these railgun chargers. Let me just check so I'm saying the right term. Yeah, we have too many railgun chargers. They're really expensive, 400 piece, so that's why we should have exactly as much as draw as that. And if we look at recoil, we have an absorption of 6,000 per second, but we're generating 25,000 per second. So these are going to be a bit inaccurate after a while. If we check this shell here, we do have stabilizer fins, 2 of them, but that slows down the shell. The visible tracer mitigates that a little bit, of course, but I think it could be a wise idea to well, perhaps remove the fins and instead opt for a system that can absorb the recoil. Right, I found some guns, some small simple weapon guns, which are not connected. Like here we have some mystery stuff. It feels like we have some... This can possibly just be something that builds a structure on it. We can check that later. I don't know if that's a mystery block, but whatever. We have some simple weapons, and now I seem to be not able to find them, but them simple weapons didn't have any local weapon controller. In particular, it was the octuple 40mm and the air guns that I saw didn't have a local weapon controller connected, which means that they are not active. They are not being used at all. I'm pretty sure they were back here, now I do remember. Well, apparently, somewhere. There we have them. They just look really weird when they're small like this. These are not connected to anything, and that of course means that they're not gonna be used. Now, we have some really proper EMP insulation almost everywhere, like maybe a bit overdone, but here we find batteries, big slabs of batteries not being EMP protected, and that's of course an issue, so they should be protected from EMP. Same with this battery connected directly to hulls, so they are vulnerable. Then we have RTGs, and RTGs, they're used for, you know, pretty small designs that are supposed to be running at like no energy cost. For a combat vehicle, there is no place for RTGs. They're super expensive, pretty bad. Better to have actual, you know, material burning stuff when it comes to that. So RTGs should, that cost should be placed somewhere else. And now I do believe, since we do have a connection out here, yeah, them are really long rods here. But if it's for aesthetical reasons, I will not comment on them, but generally it's better to have the steam engines closer to where they are being used. I think also the kinetic energy loss will be less the fewer parts you have like that. Yeah, here we have a parallel piston. So these are single stage. Could be nice to get the max output speed or stuff like that, but usually 3 to 4 stage serial pistons is the standard we go to, because otherwise we'll end up being a bit material inefficient. Not very important for a super combat vehicle though, of course, but just saying that since we do have RTGs. Well, here we find some different loaders and stuff like that, and they are a little bit unbalanced, but that's usually a-okay, that they are a little bit unbalanced. However, we got a few guns here and there where you can see this autoloader in particular needs 1 intake for sustained fire. It has 0. This means that this autoloader is actually doing absolutely nothing. It's just dead weight. Add an ammo input to it or remove it. So all of these turrets has, or not all of them, many of them turret that look like the one we looked at just recently have that issue. So that could be fixed. And a little deco tip. This gun looks absolutely amazing. You can see all of the different mimics and parts here. And I don't know if you know this, but there is this little thing you can do, which I'll just have to show you if that's new. And that is to utilize some specific deco blocks. I'm just going to random place here. So if you add a decoration, when you search for stuff, you can search for like gun, and when you do that you can kind of get parts from a gun. We're actually gonna look at that very soon, because when I unclick this view it will take a good time for it to come back here. Here we got some, is this like maybe just for show stuff? Yeah, we'll check that out later, of course. We have a fortress controller onto this vehicle. We have a lot of different vehicle controllers. That's a bit confusing. I would recommend not having a lot of vehicle controllers, just having one ship's wheel or whatever. And if you want the models, you add them as mimics instead. Is I think would be a good idea. Anyways, we'll just quickly address the EMP protection here. So the EMP protection is, well, we can see we try to do some EMP protection, but it's a bit lackluster at points. Somewhere where it's, like here we can see, I don't know why we have a laser system. It looks like we are trying to catch some EMP something here, but then it's on a rubber block, so it's a bit unknown, and I don't know why the laser goes to here. Anyways, this multi-purpose laser goes to there and up there, and then it seems to not be used. I'm a bit curious, is this laser even used at all? Is it something on top of here? We'll need to check that later. I'm not sure something is on top of there at all. Here we have compartments for general processing power. However, we don't have a wireless receiver on there, so this unit is actually not used. This is just a dead little area, as is this. It doesn't provide any computing power because they're not connected using wireless. Then let's see here. We've got some really interesting ACB blocks here and there. I'm actually not sure what they're doing. Inside this little box here, we can see we have a text describing the maneuvers and stuff, and then we have, dependent on the health, they will set a PID fake point. I'm wondering if it's like gonna make it sync when it goes low or something. I don't know. I guess we'll see. So that's very interesting. But moving forward about the EMP setup, like making things in a rubber box is a good step there. But then we have just so many of these surge protectors. They are like stacked all over the place. And each of these costs 200 materials. This is expensive. We don't need that many. We only need a few at key points. A lot of things is protected from EMP somewhat, but some things are not. So here you can see under here we have a turret, and this turret is being controlled by a local. Oh, this is good. This is good. Okay, look at that. This all-in-one local weapon controller is properly EMP protected. It's surrounded by 6 blocks of rubber, and we have like some surge protector on the turret there, and that will make sure that it doesn't get hit. This turret is perfectly EMP protected. I only noticed this one now. We have some other turrets that are not protected in a reasonable way, like this one. It is not isolated by rubber. And all of these surge protectors are going close to it, so they will actually attract an EMP surge, and they will go and hit this thing. And then we have a lot of surge protectors all around it. I don't know if we have other connection points. If we don't have other connection points for this turret, an EMP surge could potentially actually make this entire turret fall off. But you obviously know how to make it perfectly, so just make him like the other turrets. Then surge protectors shouldn't be inside or close to an AI system. They should be outside the rubber box so that nothing gets attracted inside the rubber box. Having them inside here will actually do more harm than good, because they can accidentally attract EMP signals and make them target this area and thus nuke it. So generally, we don't need so many surge protectors, we just need a few here and there. And everything that should be protected should be insulated with rubber, and the surge protectors should touch the metal and the heavy armor and stuff like that. Well, then if we look at other EMP protections up here, we can see that this one has an interesting strategy where it is almost protected from all around, except that from the turret. But on the other hand, the turret has a rubber plate, so it seems to be pretty insulated though. But again, it's better to just surround one block with 6 rubber blocks and then have a, one surge protector close by. You don't need so many, and you will be very, very, very defended. Right, so as for the LAMS system that is being used, we have a LAMS here. And then we have the multi-purpose laser, and the thing is you only need one multi-purpose laser per like laser system. So if you remove the other multi-purpose laser system from the one back here, you could connect this thing to the rest of the laser system just wirelessly using those blue lines here. Right, so these are connecting to each other. I don't know why. Anyways, then we have something going outward here, and this beam goes up to here. And this entire array here is EMP proofed. Thing is, none of these laser components are EMP susceptible in any way. And the EMP can't travel along the laser connection line. So the only thing, the only reason why you need to EMP secure lasers, that's basically because the pumps are susceptible. Like the rest of the laser system is not EMP susceptible. So everything outside of the pumps, like everything physically connecting the pumps, need to be EMP protected, but the rest doesn't need to. So, you know, this not needed, not needed. And then we are going up here with a very like flimsy, a lot of blocks here is connecting these LAMS nodes. And we only have 2 LAMS nodes here on this side. That's it. So it's very vulnerable. We need like, I don't know, take it times 4, 5, 8, something. We need more of them. I should have at least like, I would have like 4 here, and they should be connected with like, with one laser line just down here. We don't need all of these turns and crooks here and there. We could actually connect the LAMS node with like one laser transceiver. That could be it too. So that works. Well, then we have. Yeah, I think that's we need more LAMS nodes. Was a pretty good point there. And again, this laser system here in the back, it seems to be not connected. I think we can unshrink it and make it big again. So I'll guess we'll wait for that. We'll take a couple of minutes. So we have too many surge protectors very close to a local weapon controller. They should in fact be separated, but you've proven on one of the turrets that you know exactly how to EMP insulate turrets perfectly. So do that. But as for this stuff, removing the surge protectors here would be an improvement. All right. Now these, they see through railing and stuff like that, but they're not connected to an AI, so that is a little bit of an issue that they can't see at all. So they would need to be connected. Is definitely a good point here. All right. So what more can we check out and cover here? I hope I did see most of the issues. I did check for some laggy blocks. I didn't find any water pumps, which is good because that's one of the big laggy ones. And I must say I highly approve of this interior use of heavy armor ducts like that, protecting the turrets from the side. That's gonna increase survivability a good bit. Oh my lord, that's a lot of surge protectors. You don't need that many. All right, let us see all the blocks and see if we can see what these guys are potentially attached to. Pretty cool seeing it adding back all these blocks. It's truly a remarkably beautiful looking design. All right. Oh. So this. Oh, is that so? Very interesting. So this is like a fake gun. I see. And that's why it's connected up, but it's not controlled by AI, so it can't aim in fact. Well, that's something I wanted to show. And that is... Man, look at that deck. Look at that deck. I'm just wondering, how did we... Oh! So you used reinforced decking, but the 1 meter variant to get the smooth. Alright, I see. That makes sense. Sure, that increases the block count a bit, but that's an aesthetical choice, I get that. Now, some people just basically take a random slab of something and then they kind of like do a material override and use cedar material, but that's of course the wrong vibe, so I get that you may not want to do that, but that's an option of course if you want another type of deck there. But anyways, adding a decoration, as I wanted to say before, you can like search for gun like this and you get all sorts of interesting gun parts, which could be used instead of designing a gun looking parts. There's a lot of them, like these guns for example, you can use like that. I love these Age of Sail ones too, they're pretty cool. Anyways, you find a lot under guns, which can make you have to do less of this very beautiful but of course very tedious deco work. I love them. Look at that, they're just going down here. That's a cool little detail. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that this replica is probably very accurate. It looks the part at least. When you see this, you can obviously guess what it is. And this detail, look at that, that's just so beautiful. Very, very nice. Look at, yeah, obviously it looks absolutely amazing, but the creator wanted me to go through some points of potential improvements and stuff like that. So I hope I did cover everything important. Maybe I forgot something, but you know, I can look at it again if you do fix these parts that I already mentioned. We can have a second little checkout. Well, in any case, oh man, look at this. Look at the details. It looks so good. Wow. Well, interiors. I think we'll have to spawn an avatar so that we can indeed go through and look at it. So here, I think it looks pretty nice. This little area around there. Oh, look at this. It looks very good, and we even have glasses in these windows here. That's a detail a lot of people are just skipping out on. So I appreciate you did not skip on that. Oh, we have so many decks and stuff. Look at that. And if you want to have those telescopes without actually connecting them to AI, what you can do is to just add them as mimics. You'll need to search for extra mesh in the mimic menu, and under extra mesh you find a lot of things. That is that's also a good little tip. Can we like? Is there like what? I feel I kind of forgot my third person mode. What button was it? I don't remember. By the way, we have to check the cameras. So there are like cameras set up here. Or that's for different vehicles. Never mind. Never mind. We need to have camera angles set up. You can use the numpad menu to set up camera angles. Well, very interesting in any case. Oh, that's my little ugly artifact. I feel like I should like Undo some jank I added. Oh well, I will not resave this and save over the beautiful stuff. That I shall not do. It looks so nice. This looks so amazing. Look at that. Here we have some pretty neat interiors. We got some proper interiors going here. And we can even get into this turret here. That's a lovely detail. And down here we seem to be able to go to the engine room. Man, that's this is some beautiful details. Love interiors like this. And we have bunks here. We got some type of well, gaming table. Maybe it's a Go, I don't know. More bunks here. Looks very nice. I like these interiors. And here we have one of the shells. Isn't that funny? Just in the middle of the interiors like that. We use the underside of the reinforced decking to kind of get that vibe. Beautiful. I like that. Okay, that's cool. And here we have stairs. You can go up these stairs as well. Like, it's very nice. The interiors here, I'm sure we can discover this forever. We need a room on top of here though. That looks, you know, this build is so beautiful. We just need to have more interiors. Yeah. I'm sure there is some very important room or area that I completely just missed or something like that. I'm just gonna look and see if I find something a bit quickly. I think it's time for some cut through view. Alright, so here we can see the cut through. Oh, look at that, and we have this little sub object. A little spin block with a big hull. Big guns going on here. Oh yes, indeed. It's very beautiful. This is a nice cross section. This is a very nice cross section. Well, I think we're gonna do the front back cut as well. And now I'm unsure, of course. So if we check out the armor a little bit here, we do have a basically alloy slab armor. Well, it's wood and alloy and some metal. It's pretty decent. And this is just a beautiful little show we'll need to do. Look at that. Bottom plate like that. Building up the structure like this. Very beautiful. It's like the sides in the middle is a bit thin. Some proper armor and interior ducts and stuff like that. Proper turret wells. Maybe not standard turret wells, but you know, if they work, they work. Just like that. Well, I think that is indeed a piece of art. Right. Now we'll just absolutely have to look at one of these airplanes. I'm just gonna steal it a little bit. Look at this thing. How many decos is this? 828. Like, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. The detail, we have suspension, even this like decal is like parted up in 2 blocks like this. Man. The torpedoes, everything. We even have like half people inside of there. Wow. This is absolutely amazing. This just looks so awesome. Very impressed. And these little, like using this as rivets, that's something I wanted to add to some builds for a long time, and I have no excuse for not doing that yet, but this truly looks remarkable. That's absolutely amazing. Well, we have basically looked through this now for like, I don't know, more than half an hour at least. I think it's time we do bring it up in a combat scenario. I don't think I messed up anything, but 5 million. Let us spawn in the Gimli class at a enemy team in front of it like that somehow. That's probably approximate length. We're gonna spawn in the Gimli on the Grey Talons team here. But in any case, I hope that you thought it was useful with these little tips and tricks. So I do hope that I know you have a different YouTube username, but I hope you, at least on Steam Workshop magazine, will find this very useful and be able to upgrade the Yamato and fix the issues there so that it may shine as it deserves. I mean, it already shines from an aesthetical standpoint, of course, but you wanted me specifically to check out the system, so I hope it was useful. Oh, hello there. Gimli spawned in. Now I did that Hitman move, spawning in the Gimli on the weak side. I'm sure it will be able to turn around. Let me just turn off my repair tentacles, or whatever. I leave them on. Right. So, let us enjoy this little battle here. I do believe our FPS is not the greatest ever. Oh, 20 FPS. Game speed is about half speed, but you know. Look how sad it looks now. All grey and bronzy. Actually looks pretty cool. I don't know, have I somehow missed to spawn it in on the Grey Talons color scheme? Kind of feels like it. Well, I wanna see the Yamato in action, not the Gimli. We looked at the Gimli thousands of times. Oh no, I missed the launch sequence. Ah, well, we'll check the launch sequence later. Now we will enjoy the Yamato in action. Look at that. Oh, here is an upscaled piece of... Ignore that. It's like jank I accidentally added in when I was explaining stuff. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And these turrets look so cool. Look at that. How's the Gimli class doing? It is at 97%. The Gimli class is 2.2 million, so about half. The Gimli crams seem to be coming in there. Let us see if the Gimli will be able to engage the crams here after a couple of volleys. It seems so. That one can. It can't engage that one, right? Look like that. Pretty good hit. Here we have some energy generation and laser in the back here, so that should do some substantial damage. Let us follow one of Gimli's shells here. Let's see if the lamps will be able to deal with anything here. Well, we only have like very few lamps nodes, so... I wonder if I was right with those ACBs. It looks like the Yamato and the Colossal Yamato is perhaps riding a bit low. Looks very cinematic. Looks like perhaps the Civ systems may be set up in a way that they target stuff that's moving away from it, which isn't optimal, of course. Here we can see that indeed one of these steam rods has been damaged somewhere along the way, why it's not functional anymore. So that's one reason why probably better to have steam a little bit closer. We do seem to be using a good bit of interior propellers, but their thrust direction they don't seem to be gimped in any way though, so that's good. We should probably have put the game in really sad settings before trying this. Looks like the gimbal is at 94 and the Colossal Yamato is at 90. Should we pitch the Colossal Yamato versus the current iteration of Martin Sitopan's Ultra Yamato? Because they have a similar cost now. They do have a similar cost. Do tell me in the comments if you want to see that. Frogman Yamato versus the greatest replica Yamato ever constructed. It's really beautiful. Look at that. Wow. Wait, what? Why is... Never mind. Just the texture. I think it's probably some camo. It's probably some camo, that's why I'm confused with that texture. Well. Bam. Here we got an example of... here we got a good example of why Turretnik bad, according to me. But I'm in the minority. Most people love Turretniks. It's just me shitting on them, so... Do whatever you want with that information. Take next for the win. Beep beep beep, boop boop boop. Nice. Look at that. That looks so nice. There's just so many details here. The detail level is overwhelming. I wish I could be inspired, but I'm just like, wow, this looks so amazing. Like, are you sure it only took 500 hours? It looks like a couple of thousand hours. Amazing. It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Well, Gimle at 93 and the Colossal Yamato at 90, what was it, 82. Well, in any case, I'm pretty sure how this is going to go. I did see the ACBs, there were some kind of setting to make the ship not move after it was damaged to a certain point. So I guess we may have entered that territory. Look at that. Can we shoot down Gimle's cram cannons? I don't think we can, but that one missed anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Well, it looks so amazing. I do feel I want to see the launch sequence though. It seemed to have a bit of a trouble dealing damage to the Gimle, and it's slowly getting killed. So you know what? I'm just gonna call this battle off right here for the moment. Gimla has been staying on 93% just for a good time. Let's just follow this barrage here and see if they will hit. But in any case, maybe we have some... Well, it seems to have some accuracy problems. Obviously, the APS cannons, some of them have recoil problems, so that's not surprising, but nonetheless... it's gonna sink. You know what? As said, we're gonna call off this battle. If you want a proper matchup, we can do that later with not a game that's looking super fancy, but a game that's actually, you know, pragmatic. We can do that, but for now, I just want to see the launch sequence of the planes. I think we lost 2 planes, but no, they came back here. That's very nice. They came back here. I'm sure the last plane will drop in here any second now. But look at these like rails here for the launching sequence. Man, this is so amazing. Apparently the Yamato had a pretty difficult launching system. Oh, and this crane, man. So nice. So nice. Well, I wonder where that plane is. 1, 2... Well, whatever. Let's just spawn a Marauder. I want to see if the launching... Marauder. Let's spawn a Crossbones. Let's beat on something small. You know when you play the game for too long, when you say Crossbones, aka something small. Look at that! That's the pistons. That's why it looks so amazing. That's the pistons. Oh, wait a second. I wonder... Oh yeah, damn it. So the planes, you'll need to make them keep full of material and energy, because if not they will like drain themselves, which is not good. Alright. There we go. Now I fixed that. But I do think, okay, what's happening here? Whoops, never mind. Okay. So the reason why the planes had issues is that they were completely drained because their resource settings were set up incorrectly. So that's another recommendation. And you know, it's so easy to forget. You know, last year I did a same mistake myself. I submitted 3 crafts to tournament and I forgot to set that up, which meant that my drone just started itself and didn't work. So just sharing that, so you know, when I'm coming here and nitpicking at everything that can be improved, could be at least tasteful to say that it's a really hard game and we all make mistakes. This plane though, that looks so amazing. I want to host a plane, a decorative plane building tournament, a deco tournament when I see this. Which we're actually gonna do. We're actually gonna do. That video is already recorded, by the way, but if I hadn't done that, I would be very inspired by that. Look at that little torpedo. It's being dropped like that. Perhaps the wrong direction, but whatever. And there we go. And it's now going towards the target. I hope they can survive long enough to be able to reach the target. Very, very, very nice. I'm sure these torpedoes are like replica builds too. Oh, the crossbones is gone already. Well, one thing I definitely also want to check is how does this look actually? Without the decos, this plane looks like this. And with the decos, oh, look at that. We don't even see, we have some extra propellers there. And there we have, okay. It feels evil to look at it without, with no decos. Because it's so beautiful and it's so ugly if you remove the decos. Well, in any case. Well, we're definitely off. This is definitely a this is a potential thumbnail for the video. Look at that. Like the detail that we have, the black inside the barrel, just like this. It looks absolutely splendid. I dare to say that this is, by all likelihood, the greatest, best looking, most impressive replica build I've seen in a game so far. Well, wow. Maxim APP apps really provided the greatest Yamato of all time, I must say. In any case, if you enjoyed this video, definitely leave it a like. That helps me a lot, of course. And go to the workshop, check out the Colossal Yamato. You find the link in the description, and give it a 5-star rating, because this should be number 1 on when you load the game, I feel like, you know? Well, I do hope you enjoyed this little video, and of course, we're gonna finish the Yamato by Martin Pants. It's a slow project though, because there's so much deco to add, you know, from the last episode. But in any case, do check out the Relaxism and GMODISM channel up there for some extra from depth content. And if you haven't visited GMODISM.com yet, please do that. You'll find links to basically everything there. I built a very interesting site, which you've never seen anywhere before, because, well, I made a menu and layout. In any case, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave us a like, and I'll see you next time. This is your host, Eric of GMODISM, and I'm signing out.